Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at the newly released Magma Storm Heatran in the Open Master League. I built my one now fully XL, which is going to be a very interesting upgrade for this meta. I was actually away for the last 8 days, so if you were wondering why I didn't showcase this Pokemon prior, I was just not there. Same goes for like Turtonator, which was released at the same time, as well as Mega Sableye, I think also got released. So I might gonna take a look at those Pokemon eventually again. But yeah, today we're gonna take a look at the fully XL variant of the Magma Storm variant of Heatran. This Pokemon can be a core breaker for quite a lot of teams, as you're going to be able to do a lot of damage against both Dialga, Zacian, but also, if you want to, with Stone Edge against something like a Ho-Oh. And yeah. We're going to take a look at today at one of the best teams that you can run. Honestly, most likely the best team that you can run around this Pokemon. I think it's also in the top teams video for the Master League, which I released around 2 days ago. We're going to have a team here with the Lugia as a Seisob and the Dragonite in the back. Instead of the Dragonite, you can also use something like any flying type that is most likely Dragon type is ideal, because you're going to be able to counter Kyogre a little bit better. But if you don't have something like a Rayquaza, you can also use something like an Yveltal, which would also work out fairly well for this team. So, here we're going to now encounter a Groudon again, which you're going to be able to easily win against because our Lugia can outwall it. We had quite a few of Groudon leads, which was kind of expectable, as I think a lot of people expected me to go for Heatran for today's video. But are we going to be able to here now take advantage on how to play this team as well? We're going to talk a little bit on how to play this team in general, because it worked out so well. Actually, it worked out very, very well. You're going to see it anyway. We're going to have a Dragonite here against this lead. I'm really happy that they used all their energy. Dragonite lead can be a little bit tricky because, of course, we have a pretty decent answer with the Lugia, but our own Dragonite here going to be also only neutral in the back, so if they have some energy lead, they're going to kill us there quite easily. As well as you're going to have coverage against the Heatran with the Dragonite, which, for example, something like the Rayquaza usually doesn't have, unless they have Ancient Power, which is still not that decent. You see here the Magma Storm animation is one of the coolest in the game, but here now we're going to get out the Groudon again. Or we can go for another Magma Storm. We see it again. The animation is fairly cool, like very decent there as well. As you see the Pressure's Blade going to knock us out, but no, they're gonna go for the Fire Punch. What a mistake by the opponent, as they can go ahead and go for a Magma Storm, and we're gonna get the final shit of the opponent. But all the energy they stored up, it just doesn't really matter, as you're going to still have our old Dragonite. They're gonna swap into their Dragonite. We can go for one Dragon Claw. We can knock them out. And at this point of time, you have a Groudon facing off 2 flying types, which is definitely not what it wants to see, and this is going to be a good game. Let's take a look at the next game here. We're going to encounter the Heatran against a Groudon. Again, horrific lead. What we're going to do here is we're going to build up to a Magma Storm. We're going to get to the Magma Storm after just 4 fire spins, which is going to be faster than they can get to a Pressure's Blade, so there's no real risk. But with this team, both of our Pokemon in the bag can basically completely hardwall a Groudon. So like, if they have energy, it doesn't really matter. Like, they're going to usually only use their energy against your Heatran, which makes this team so nice as well. But here, for example, we were able to just now have one Magma Storm stored, which we can use later to snipe a Pokemon, but also still going to have our Lugia in here now against a fairly neutral matchup. The opponent baited me here, which was a great shout by them. But what we can do here right now, as you're going to see as well, we can swap out. I tried to go for my charge move, but I didn't get there in time. So I can go for the Aero Blast, which is going to be resistant, and it's very good that we're going to be able to go ahead and get to a Magma Storm here right now. That's going to get a not debuff. It would be cool if we could debuff something, but no. I'm just going to get a ton of damage into them, and I can still get to another one. And here is like the thing with Groudon. They could have also just went ahead and shielded this move up, but they had so much energy and it would all go to waste. But now we're going to have to battle against a Shadow Mewtwo. I wasn't sure if they maybe run something like the Ice Beam, which you can actually run on the Mewtwo, which is a fairly decent move because you have a chance even to beat Yveltal with it. But they're going to just go ahead and have the standard moveset most likely of the Psystoric plus the Shadow Wall. You're going to try to catch another charge move here. It didn't work. They're going to swap in their own Lugia. And you're going to see now the Mewtwo going to go down from some more Dragon Tails. And the opponent going to lose this game with 2 shields left. Let's take a look at the next opponent. We're going to have Heatran now against the Rayquaza. It's usually a fairly decent D tier, but the opponent going to, of course, swap out of here now. We can do some prior damage here against the opponent's Ursaluna with our Magma Storm, and we can swap out into our Lugia. Yes, the opponent going to have a super effective move against us. But those elemental punches are fairly bad moves, to be fair. Like, if you look at the damage per energy that those moves can do, it's not that great. So here we're going to now be able to go into our Lugia, which is the bulkiest Pokemon of the Open Master League, and we can just tank those moves like it's nothing from the Ursaluna, as we can now farm them all the way down. Have a ton of energy, we can realign our Pokemon, in comes the Rayquaza, and of course, our fast move is going to do a ton of damage against them already. Super effective, and we're gonna get the shield as well with the Sky Attack. But sadly, they can farm us down just barely before we get to another charge move here. But we can go into our Heatran, which should be able to resist all the moves. But no, they actually run Ancient Power. And this did more damage than I expected. So I'm forced to shield up the charge move here. We're going to be able to now go ahead, swap into our Dragonite, and in comes a Groudon, which is perfect for us. This is literally the best possible matchup that we could have asked for in the back here, as are we going to be able to resist all the moves from the opponent here right now. The Dragon Claw is coming through and going to do a ton of damage against the opponent as well, as the Fire Punch is basically doing nothing. All moves are resisted by the opponent, like from the opponent at our Dragonite here, of course. Actually, I think there's not a single move other than, of course, Dragon Tail as a fast move that they could have that really threatens us here. So we can just farm them all the way down, have a ton of energy, and the Rayquaza, I'm not even gonna bother throwing a charge move, as I can just farm them all the way down with my Heatran here as well. Let's take a look at the next game. We're going to encounter Heatran against Groudon. This is going to be a fairly horrific matchup here, but we know already how we play this one out, right? We're gonna go up to the Magma Storm so we can play this out later to try to maybe snipe a Pokemon here. But we can swap into our Lugia Say Swap, which is gonna get out the Zacian. So far, so hard countered. This is not really a good matchup for me, but we can take the play rough coming through, and we can go ahead and go for our own Sky Attack here right now, which is gonna get the shield from the opponent, which is really nice for us, because now we can go for the Arrow Blast, which is going to do a ton of damage against the opponent. And as you're going to see here right now as well, we're going to be able to maybe even go ahead and go for a knockout. They're gonna go for the play rough, it does knock me out, but honestly, I can just swap out and try to snipe them. This is going to force the opponent to either go 2 shields down here right now, or going to let the Zacian go through. And this is going to be so nice for me, as I can now let this move go through, and I have to hope that they're going to have something in the back that I can deal with my Dragonite. I'm pretty sure, even if they have a Dialga in the back, I still have a decent chance of winning this game. But in comes a Giratina, which is even better for me here right now, as I can go ahead and go for a Dragon Claw. And this is going to do a ton of damage against the opponent here as well. If it would go through, it doesn't go through. We can go for another shield here. It's going to be the Omnious Wind. And honestly, why not go for a Dragon Claw here again? Do a ton of damage, not knock them out, I think. They can barely survive, but we can of course flex a little bit, go for the catch here, completely unnecessary. Omnious Wind coming through, gonna get the boost for the opponent, but it does not matter at all. Because still Groudon going to basically do no damage, or do they? Still Precious Blade is doing a ton of damage against me, which is just wild. This move is just so strong. And Stab from Groudon is just so insanely strong, even though it's double resisted, but it doesn't really matter still. Our Dragonite is having a great time here right now, as the superpower here is going to just destroy the opponent. We can move over into the next game here. In comes now the Heatran against the Groudon again. Horrific lead. And again, we're going to play it out as said before. We're going to go up to a Magma Storm, swap out immediately, and we're going to now go ahead and go into our Lugia, as we're going to get out the opponent's Metagross. So far, so hard countered. Again, not really good for us. But the opponent's team are also already double weak to Kyogre, by the way, but maybe Kyogre actually going to be a little bit more common with the Heatran now around. But we're gonna get the boost here, which is the most important thing anyway, because this boost is going to allow us to force switch advantage there, and also like just the alignment. And alignment is super important with a Groudon in the lead, because of course Groudon is going to completely destroy my lead, but it has nothing to do against our Dragonite in the back. Allowing us now to even go ahead and go for another charge move against the opponent, forcing them to shield, because of course our attack is double buffed. Like this, we're gonna get the Gyarados at like half of their health, and can go for just straight the Magma Storm here to do some damage against them. They can go for the Awkward Tail. I expect them to swap out eventually. But as you're going to see here right now, I can swap out here into my Dragonite, and they are now forced to go for some Precious Blades against my Dragonite with their Groudon. And it's not going to do too much damage here. We're going to just be able to go ahead and try to go for the farm down here as well. I'm going to be able to go for more damage here as well with the Dragon Claw. This should put them into farmland range before they can get to another charge move here, so this should be fine. One more fast move is all that we need here, and at this point of time, thanks to the debuff of the, or not the debuff, thanks to the double buff of course, the Aeroblast of the Lugia, we were able to flip switch, win this game. Definitely would have been a tough one to come back from if we didn't get the double boost there, but this is fine. And we can now move on into the final game for today. And this player was running some spice. We're going to have here the Shadow Hippowdon and the Shadow Snorlax. They know it was the Open Master League. They just said, I think, that they don't really have the XL Legendary Pokemon, but they have all the XL normal Pokemon here because, like, I think free to play or whatever. But yeah, we're going to now be able to go ahead and let those body stamps go through. I'm fairly certain that one Skytick is all it takes to knock out this Shadow Snorlax here from the opponent, but I was wrong. They actually survived it, and they're going to still be able to go for one another Body Slam, which can maybe come in clutch for them later on, as they're going to get more damage onto the Lugia. And now we might be in farmland range for the Hippowdon, which is going to run the fast move of Ice Fang, which is super effective and going to do a ton of damage. But still, Lugia is the bulkiest Pokemon in this meta, and you see already, you can go for one Sky Attack, and that's not all, we can even reach another one. Lugia, honestly, for all the Pokemon that you can build, is the best Pokemon for the Master League in my opinion. Yes, Zacian is great, yes, Dialga is great, but Lugia is just on a whole nother level. Like, honestly, if you want to build like one Pokemon for the Master League, just try to go for Lugia, so, like, if you get the XL Candy somehow, because this Pokemon is just insane. This is literally the strongest Pokemon in my opinion, but here, you're going to have a great matchup at the end here with the Swampert against us, as you can now just hard wall them with the Dragonite. There's not a lot that they can do about this one, and we can just farm them all the way down, having a Moose out as well then. And we should be able to just go for one Dragon Claw in order to knock out the opponent's Hippowdon. And yeah, this is going to be it for today's video. It was kind of weird to commentate a video again after more than a week of a break. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you're also excited for the Retro Cup later on, which is usually one of the most funnest meta out there. So stay tuned for those videos as well. Going to keep you updated, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.